Work every morning, I see
We're ready.
3 or 4 jump across the road in front of me.
They're so close to my house, I can hear them chewing. Not even joking.
Alrighty.
That's how scared they are of me.
Yeah.
I, on the way here tonight, I had one vote from here to the screen from my truck. And I thought, they just stood there watching.
Yeah.
I will call this Town of Vinalhaven Board of Selectmen's meeting to order for Tuesday, October 1st, 2024. Roll call. Tom Anthony is absent. Ladd Olson, Don Young, Leslie Dyer, Pam Alley, Elizabeth Bunker, and Marjorie Stratton, all present. Number 2, approve agenda. We didn't have any additions.
Did you want to take up the food pantry item sooner?
Yes,
So we could
yeah, I
get-
can do that. So Candy can
Yes.
move along. We can move her up to between speakers from the floor, and it's number 6 and number 7.
Okay.
Is that okay with you folks?
Sounds good to me. So moved as amended.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Minutes, approve the minutes from the September 17th, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Hold on just 1 second, okay. Communications, Marjorie,
I didn't have anything that we won't address later in the agenda.
okay. Number 6, speakers from the floor. And we will move to 9B.
Did you do the teller?
Warrant. Yep, didn't I? I marked it off. Approve and sign treasurer's warrant number 14.
You guys signed it?
Yeah. Second.
All in favor? I don't know why we keep that on there.
Habit.
All righty. 9B, Vinalhaven Food Pantry request for assistance. Candy.
So I'll just start and then I'll ask, I want to make sure I understand it completely. I got a call from Alan Curl. He's from AIO, Area Interfaith Outreach, and they provide the food once a week. That there's 27 families that receive that assistance. And he's asking for assistance with paying for ferry tickets and help with getting reservations over here. But one of the questions I had was, how does it work now? Does he bring a van over?
No, the ferry crew is putting it right on the boat, and then we send someone down to take it off the boat.
Okay, so,
But the reason that they got the van is that they're gonna start bringing food over for the kids at school, so that those who might go hungry on the weekends will have food on the weekends. They'll have backpacks or something, so they're gonna bring food over every Thursday that will go to school first, and so that we'll make sure that all the children don't go hungry on the weekends.
Oh, nice.
will that be along with the,
Yeah, that'll be along with the AIO food that, for the other families. Which is why they got the van in the first place, so they could do this.
so another piece of all of this is that once a month, they the food pantry also gets food from Good Shepherd, and that serves 45 to 50 families. And the food pantry, Bunkers brings that food. I'm sorry, I'm reading my notes here. So Bunkers brings the Good Shepherd food, and then that's about between 130 and 150 a month that the food pantry pays for that. But what AIO is telling me, Alan Curl, is that using this van, they could also help us out and bring the Good Shepherd food, because there wouldn't be any reason, because they get food from Good Shepherd too, so it's combining the effort, which would eliminate the payment, the $130 to $150 a month that's paid to Bunkers. Nothing against Bunkers.
Them bunkers.
So how often would AIO bring the van out?
Every
AIO would
Thursday.
come once a week.
Every Thursday.
So
Um,
that, okay,
So in terms of appropriation, we appropriated $1,000. We've given the food pantry 500, so we could use that other $500 to assist them with ferry tickets. I don't see a problem with that because we already have that appropriation. I guess the thing I didn't know about was whether we wanted to get into making reservations for yet another entity. And it would be on the 1030, which is not, the 1030 and the 1 aren't boats that are, how would you say?
Busy.
Yeah, they're not as busy as the other ones, but I wasn't so sure about that. I mean, we already have the appropriation, so I don't have any problem, spending down the rest of the appropriation. But I'm just not sure about the,
That would fall on Debbie to make the reservations, correct?
probably.
Yeah. So my question is, to Candy, do you have a committee, a food pantry committee? Or is it just run by you, or do you have people that,
It's run by me and a lot of volunteers.
okay, I was just curious if you would have a volunteer that would be able to make the reservations.
Well, I could do that. But the reservations, yeah, I could do the reservations. They had even thought about just putting the car in, the truck in line and hopefully get on the 10:30, and I could get a line number for the 1 o'clock to get them on.
So you don't really need a reserve.
Well, maybe to get the truck off on the boat.
From the Rockland side?
Right. Just because, you never know. And also, you never know if that one's gonna be running. That's the Rockland boat.
So the 10:30 from Rockland is not a reserve boat.
There's now, isn't it?
Are they keeping it that way? Are they still doing reserves
They
for all of
They
them?
went back.
I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was just a month long.
They did,
I thought it was
they
just
did
a
trial.
August, right?
Yeah.
And then I think they were gonna open it back up for September.
They just eliminated the truck reservations
That's what I
on that
remember.
other boat. I think they still are taking reservations for cars.
That's how I understood it. yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so you can make the reservations yourself. So the town doesn't really have to do that.
No, I would just have to have the money.
So if
Yeah,
the,
we've got the money.
got the $500,
He's also talking to a lot of other businesses on this island and in Rockland too that will help donate money. So
Yeah,
that
'cause
this will keep going.
$500 isn't gonna last very long.
no, not at all.
Between reservations, the ticket for the van, depending on how big the van is.
I called down today, the van is a tall van, it's 8 feet 9 inches, 23 feet. And she said the round trip would be $49.25
For round trip.
for round trip. And I made sure that she was saying round trip, I said, you're sure it's not just
Well-
$49.25 one way and then we have to pay again, it's no round trip.
So it's a 2-use ticket.
So it'd be $80 a trip.
No,
the round-
it's $49.9.
No, with the reservations though, that's $30 more. Reservation
If you get a
50.
reservation versus a line number.
So it'd be $80 a trip times 4 weeks is $317 a month.
Can't go down the side.
So that $500 will be gone
Month and a half.
quickly.
Well, it's $500 for you to do whatever you see fit, apparently.
Then you were saying we have 130 a month.
No,
spend
we
it.
don't pay it.
Oh.
I was just trying to give it the whole picture. In other words, the food pantry pays bunkers between 130 and 150
Well, the last,
a month, but that, if AIO brings the Good Shepherd food, that cost will go away. But I guess it's contingent upon AIO being able to come over here once a week.
They plan on starting next week. And I can either, they can either put the car in line early enough so that it makes it 10:30 and I can get the line number, which will eliminate the reservations. That would save us money.
So you're looking at about $200 a month and just for the tickets.
300. But we have 500 to vote on, correct?
No,
Are they
you don't need
based
to
in
vote on it.
Rockland?
That's
Okay.
already passed
It's
the
already
town
been,
meeting.
okay.
They're based in Rockland.
Yeah.
So they'd be able to put a vehicle in line, which would be helpful.
What do they charge a foot?
It was
Six something.
638
Yeah.
a foot after the 20 feet.
And the van is what, 23
It's 23 feet.
23 feet?
Well, anyway, I'm coming to you because I didn't feel 100% comfortable just going ahead and doing that.
Right.
Helping another entity to get reservations. I mean, it's one of those slippery slope things.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, I'm in
But it's,
agreement.
it's a good program. So,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely.
I wouldn't have a problem, if we had to up the money a little bit, that doesn't bother me, because the reservations did.
Mhm.
But they just said they'll get the reservation themselves,
Yeah.
so.
But I'm saying, if we up the money, say $1,000 a year to start off and go from there.
Yeah, it is 1,000 a year. I've already given them 500, so there's 500 left.
It still seems like bunkers might still be the best option.
What?
Still seems like bunkers may be the least expensive option at $130 a month.
But that's only for the one.
Just one trip?
That's just one trip.
Oh, okay. Well, you get a lot of food then.
No, we try, because we feed a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's $8 a
But
box.
the last
It's like
bill I got
$60.
from Bumpers was 220.
That was for one trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they've gone up.
220. Oh, yeah, of course they have
Yeah,
to.
they're $8 a box.
So, anyway, this would cut that expense, the freight expense for the food pantry, to just that one van once a week. Yeah, and you can get the reservations and/or line numbers yourself. The food pantry can.
Yeah.
I agree with Marjorie, I don't think we should burden Debbie with more. I mean, she has to coordinate a lot of trucks and, she accommodates like Millie has people coming out to do things or whatever. I would hesitate to have her have to worry about a weekly reservation. Not that it's not a good cause, but if you think you're able to get them yourself, or somebody in your,
If they still are doing the reservations on the 10:30 boat, otherwise they'll just put the car in line.
right,
And we'll just get a line number to get off.
so you'd be all set.
Yes, and just keep me and the board informed about the finances, and as Don said, maybe they could do something out of their contingency, or we
Yeah.
can spend down what's in there at least. Is it easier to just have the lump sum, to distribute the lump sum to the pantry, or?
Probably, I'm gonna say, Julie's the treasurer, so,
Okay,
I don't know how it goes with that.
okay.
Julie can always call and talk to Marjorie about that.
Okay,
and it certainly is a worthy cause and a thing, and I wouldn't be opposed if we, along the way, decide to up the contribution, because it really is it's well worth my estimation.
Yeah, I think that this winter, there might be more families coming to us, depending on how
Yeah,
winter goes and how lobstering went and
I know it's,
everything else is.
can be hard for a lot of people.
so all you Facebook people out there, we need donations to the food pantry.
Definitely.
Yes, put that on your list of things to do. Write checks to the food pantry.
Appreciate it.
Do everything we can to help. Okay, so we're all set then? Are you all set, Candy? Do you have any other thing, anything else you wanna say?
I appreciate everything.
Well, thank you. We appreciate everything you do. You do an awful lot for the people in town.
Try.
Yeah, no, you do a good job. Thank you. All right, we'll move on then to number 7, committee and departmental reports and appointments. A, Woodard and Kern.
Brent Bridges has just gotten back yesterday from his vacation, so I don't really have a lot. We had 2 meetings today talking about the downtown project and the downtown project budget. We continue to work through the problems of the finances, you know, that we just didn't have enough money based on that one bid that we got. So we're trying to change still do everything, but in terms of the EDA portion of the project, reduce the scope of that piece, and try to get separate funding for the stormwater piece of the project. It's very complicated, and, you know, we met for, you know, an hour this morning just talking about the finance or the budget piece of the project. And then we met for another hour at 11:30, working through issues with where the additional funds are going to come from. And we need to meet with the water district. The water district and replacing the water pipes is a big piece of this project. So we're still working through all of the problems, moving forward ever so slowly, but we're still moving. I don't know if you have any questions for me. So that's sort of Woodard and Curran and the downtown project.
Okay. Well, as long as it's moving forward, however slowly, and not stopped or going
Well, we're
back.
getting ready to send a new narrative to, her name is Megan Cole, who is our project manager from EDA. And of course, they want to know, you know, exactly what we're doing, and then that has to be approved. And then once they approve it, we've got to tweak the design, and then they have to approve that. It's very slow-moving process.
Tedious.
Yeah.
Is that it, Marjorie, for
Mhm.
that? Okay, thank you. 7C, Public Works.
Everybody get their reports, even
Yes.
though I have to send 2 emails each week.
I don't think,
I like send one email, oh, sorry, Margaret, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, you know, I like to send 2 emails, it just, you know, one's to say hi everyone, and then the next one actually has the attachments, so.
Oh, I don't think I
Every
gave
time.
you Millie did a spreadsheet of the paving project, and it's not, you know, I'm still getting bills in, you know, and she's still putting information on this, but if you want a copy of this, I'm happy to make it.
Please.
Would you like it? Okay.
What is going on with the,
So, the transporter is pretty much the issue. I need 9 trucks to take me to the dump, and the transporter is booked. The earliest that we could do anything was the 3rd week of October, and I'm not willing to do that because we're playing with temperatures, which is a huge gamble. So if we get, you know, a hot top out here and it's too cold, we eat it, we'll dump it somewhere and it won't be used, so, my concern is there, so, I made my decision sort of today that we're gonna stop for now. If there's any, where one lane's longer, if there's any damage there, you know, from the snow plows over the winter or anything like that, we can cut a small, you know, piece off and then just seam it back together, pretty easily, so. But yeah, the transporter is it, and I have him for this, 3rd and one day on the 4th week of October, to bring sand and salt over. I don't need as much as I needed last year, so I'm trying to not use the ferry if I can. Especially salt is similar to tar.
Mm.
You can't leave it in the trucks too long because it's it rains or it gets wet, it's junk, so. So yeah, unfortunately, you know, I was really, my plan was to make it to the dump. And we had a few issues along the way. Jake has bought a new paver, a bigger paver.
Both sides.
And we are talking about possibly getting, he wants to get a plant, which would be, take a lot of trouble out of everything if he gets the plant, but
Thank you.
again, I don't think he'll get the plant unless
Thank
he
you.
knows that, you know, we're gonna use it, and I said, well, that goes into the bidding process, but I told him it wouldn't hurt if he wanted to come to you guys, at a meeting and just discuss it, because, you know, he's definitely putting some money into this. The bigger paver, I think you'll see a better product, it's a newer paver, it's pretty decent, so I think that, you know, they're doing an okay job, and we're definitely saving some money, so.
A lot of money.
I look forward to getting back into it in the spring as soon as the weather allows us to.
So we don't think we're gonna get any more? Yeah.
You know,
Getting too late.
my biggest problem is I can get like one trip here and one trip there, but then you're talking about so many seams that I don't want to do that and end up, you know, every seam that you have is a
Right.
added exposure, so. I'd like to keep those to a minimum, if we can. So that's it on tar as far as I can see. We started late in the year, you know, I mean, that was the bottom line. Being able to set it up this winter for the spring, we should be able to go to town.
I'm sorry, I left, so can we jump on their schedule for the spring and get on?
That's what I wanna do, yeah. I'd like to, obviously we need approval, you know. I can't remember how we left it, but, I would like to start now making plans for, probably late spring when the temps are solid.
So is this the total so far, Millie? Okay.
Yep,
But probably the bills, for instance, that are on this warrant haven't
Right.
been added yet, so.
anything that I've signed for is on there.
Okay, maybe it is.
Other than that, everything else is kind of just going along, just getting ready for winter, doing roadside trimming and mowing. We've got a few more roads to grade. I try to bounce around a little bit so we don't get stuck at doing one thing. And today we started backfilling the raw edges of pavement on the Island Road, and we've gotten almost one whole side done with the excavator and one truck, so we're doing good today.
Good,
Yeah, it worked well. So that's it for me for now.
good, thank you. 7D, Cemetery Committee new formation document.
Obviously, this isn't a new committee, but it's one of our standing committees, as opposed to a temporary ad hoc committee. But it's been so long since we had a list of the members and what their mission was, that I felt it would be a good idea to put this together and just have a record of the committee, the members, and what their mission is. So it's fairly straightforward.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay. Main State Ferry Service Advisory Board report.
So I went to the meeting. Alan couldn't attend the last meeting. They gave us a copy of the winter schedule. As far as I could see, there weren't any changes from the previous year. They presented that new traffic pattern. I would urge people to make comments. If you don't have Bill Gary's email, then send them to me and I will pass them along. I mean, I've already gotten people that were commenting, but we really need to comment to the ferry service. I just got an email today, it's not on here, that the Spear is gonna go out of service for a few days, and actually the Henry Lee, which has been in the yard, is gonna replace the Spear. So that the Spear can have some work done. But then very soon after that, the Spear is gonna go to Owlsboro, and we'll have the Philbrook. And
And the Henry Lee.
I don't know why they're giving us the Henry Lee.
Philbrook is in
The Philbrook is probably still in Swans
Swans
Island.
Island.
So
It doesn't make sense, though, not to have the big boat on Vinalhaven for the 7 o'clock and the 4:30.
Why don't they send the Philbrook to Islesboro? Since their boat is going offline.
Well, my understanding is that they have to have one of the bigger boats.
Because
They make 50
Traffic.
trips a day, they don't need the bigger boat.
I don't know, I'm not really
Doesn't
up on
matter,
the
then I'm gonna
technicalities
switch
of,
What a joke.
Again, the Thompson over here in the wintertime would make a lot more sense than the Philbrook being here.
I didn't ask that question, actually, whether the Thompson would switch over to the island-based boat. It's a good question, though.
That's
So if we
that's how I
have the-
read it right here, is that now maybe I'm misreading it
On my notes or the,
on your note, yeah.
all right,
How long is the Smith gonna be hauled out for? They
I
know?
heard months.
yeah, I heard, that's what I
Didn't
heard.
they just,
Plates.
they just
Okay,
took
let me read it
out.
from the,
That's why we didn't have,
And I wouldn't be so
Thompson,
upset
the
with the
Spear all
with the
winter.
Philbrook being on the Rockland boat, but not the
Supposedly
Vinalhaven
they
boat.
fixed it, but
it just says that the Captain Charles Philbrook will be used for service between Vinalhaven and Rockland. It doesn't say. I could inquire about that,
I would
so.
be, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
Here you go.
I would be interested to know what the
Oh, no, yeah, you did it.
traffic is on that Smith every day. Like how many vehicles do they generally, this time of year, cart back?
Just their commuters.
I do know they are busy, I do.
Oh, I'm not saying they aren't busy, but are they so full that the Philbrook wouldn't
Well,
be?
I
think lots of
I thought
times,
it was
yes.
just that they needed the bigger boat for some reason. I don't know.
I don't know 100%, I just,
Don't they
I do
have
know
just-
that,
They have a lot of commuters or something like that,
But they also-
do take a ton of tractor trailer trucks come on and off of there for.
but they also
construction
make
stuff.
more trips than
They do.
to here. So you
Well,
think
just
it would
curious.
All
offset,
the rich people out there.
it would offset.
but they were able to use their boat for their paving project this summer.
But in the wintertime, frankly, if we had the Thompson here and the Philbrook or whatever in Rockland, we would live with it. That wouldn't, it's not like having the Libby and,
Oh, God,
but
The Lily's gone. It's been sold.
yeah.
Yeah, the new one doesn't take as many.
I thought they wouldn't put the Thompson out here because it has to have that extra crew member. And the crew refuses to stay out here.
well, Wanda puts the Thompson up there to Owlsboro and leave the Spear here.
I can only ask the question, I guess.
We tell them
We
what to
can-
do, man.
Yeah, I mean,
We can all only ask the question and then it still doesn't matter.
Let's see.
Well, so far, that logic hasn't been really good.
I don't think there's a lot of logic there.
So, moving on, there will be a special meeting on October 10th.
Right, just to review that Everett Libby that you were just mentioning was sold and taken out of service. And the new Norman Shea was commissioned September 12th, and that's to be used for Matinicus. And I'm not sure, I mean, some of the advisory board members wondered about what other uses that they could make of the Charles Norman
Well,
Shea.
how are they gonna staff it?
Well, that's an easy
Well,
one, it's smaller than
yes.
the Libby.
Yes.
but, I mean,
Yes, there is Pam, there is a special meeting on October 10th with the advisory board and Commissioner Van Noot, and wants to discuss another increase in ferry rates with the advisory board.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding.
Wow.
So I expect that Alan will attend that meeting. I would like to, I think I'm double booked that day, but I would like to at least attend that meeting via Zoom, but I'd also like to attend in person. I'm just not sure I can work it out.
Are you able to attend via Zoom?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you
At
know,
a normal advisory board meeting, you can.
do you know what time it's at on the 10th?
It's at 10 o'clock, I believe. Those start at 10 or 10:30. I think they start at 10:30. Anyway, I can get you that information if you want.
Yeah, please.
I didn't think they allowed the
The general public.
GB to attend those meetings.
Well, there's people from the public that go to the meetings and sit in the audience.
There is.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about the parking lot pattern. I mean, to me, that's not a huge thing, what they've changed, but what is the big change that everybody's,
So the 4 lines are closer together,
right?
so it could potentially be harder to switch out a vehicle. You cannot come this way across the parking lot.
Right,
If there's cars in the overflow, you can't go around.
Yeah.
You'd have to go out across Main Street and come back
oh,
around.
okay.
And you
I
also
see.
can't go this
You
way.
can't
Right.
So
go
when you go
tonight's.
down, you've got to do a U somehow and then go back up
Well,
this
yeah, how do
way.
you get into Knights Marine?
Oh, because you can't go across.
You can't go
Yeah.
across and you can't come down this way.
How
And,
are they gonna get boats in and out of there?
or the tractor trailers. You
Or the
can't-
tractor
You
trailers?
can't turn a bike and truck around, you can't turn.
So this is just another failed thing that they're gonna.
Yes.
That they've
try.
already tried once and it didn't work.
Didn't work,
Yes.
apparently, yeah, I did get that. Okay, alrighty, so, there.
It's time for Bill
Um,
Gates to go back to town.
moving on.
Came from.
Old business, 8, old business. A, Island Medical Transport, draft operation plan.
So I got this email from Rick Petrie concerning the proposal for this island medical transport, this big boat. And what he's asking is for the select board to read this draft operational plan, see if they're willing to sign on to this plan. If not, please get the reasons why not, getting the reasons why not would be helpful.
Not
They're
feasible.
saying unless all of the islands sign on, so
This
we
guy
can.
wants to sell one of those boats so bad. He's gonna let him out still.
This ain't gonna work.
Go ahead, finish, Marge.
Well, I guess, in short, he's looking for comments on this draft operational plan. I guess one of the things is, in terms of location, they're looking at the most ideal base location appears to be Vinalhaven, and they will need living space for 3 people.
Yeah, of course. The boat, when he was here, he said the cost and funding maintenance would be $2.5 million every year. Now it's $2.5 to $3 million per year. We're gonna have to find a place to house these people. We're gonna have to hire these people. A paramedic, an EMS trained, also experienced boat person, and a captain.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I'm looking at it more like a life flight operation. It's not something that Vinalhaven is gonna operate. You know, what they're saying, yes, is it's 2.5 million to operate, but it'll, In other words, if we need life flight, we call them. So it'd be like that. I guess the difference would be that they would like to see this boat housed here. So it impacts Vinalhaven, in terms of finding a place for this huge boat and finding places for the staff.
And does the 2.5 to $3 million cover building a pen for this boat and finding a residence for these people? Or is that gonna be on the town?
No, I don't see that we would be paying for it, but we would have to provide a space, which
Which we don't have.
we
We
don't
don't
have.
have.
Yeah.
And I just have a feeling that if we have this boat and say it's gone on to some other island, I just have a feeling we're not gonna have the ferry to rely on, and we're not gonna have life flight to rely on.
The way I read it, the life flight would be the first go-to. They would not displace or replace life flight, I should say.
My problem with these type of things is they're always advertised as, it's never gonna cost you any money. It's never gonna cost you any money.
Right.
I think the world, we need our ambulances, everything out here. That started the same way. Now we have a whole department. This is an unreal undertaking, and these things are always advertised as, don't worry, it's never gonna cost you any money, and then all of a sudden, we get the bill.
I agree.
Like I vote,
I think we should see what the other islands have to say.
If it's that much of an issue for us, it should be an even bigger one for them.
I would be curious what the other islands think. Because I know how I feel. I don't think this is gonna work.
Well, I think we need to see what have, what their thoughts are.
So the
I'm not
first question is, see if you are willing to sign on to this plan.
No,
no,
As I just said, I think we need to hear from the other towns to see what they have to say. Yes, Melly?
Is there anything spoken of the staff that would be on this boat? If they were down, would they be able to be on call for the island or anything like that?
If they were housed here, I would think.
But
I mean, they should be, they
unless
should
they're
be.
on call.
I think they're on
Somewhere else.
24/7 for the
this
boat.
thing.
I think it's in
there'd
here.
be more than one crew then.
I think it's in here. It says they're on
It
call.
says a crew of
It's
three.
just-
A crew of three, a captain, a mate who also has EMS training certification, and a paramedic.
The ship will be staffed 24 hours a day, 365 per year. So no, they would be on call for the boat only,
Now,
365 days a year.
24 hours a day. Yeah.
now, when he had the presentation here, if I recall, they did mention that this could be a supplement to our EMT. And they specifically said that in the meeting.
They're not saying it here.
That just goes to show.
Realistically, they need more than a crew of three to
You
make
can't be
this.
on call 24 hours a day.
You
Exactly.
can't do that.
Or is that three at a time? It could be multiple groups of three.
You have to, I mean.
Good luck with that.
Good luck with that.
But anyway, I'm not saying that I agree with this thing, this whole, medical transport vessel, but I'm certainly not gonna say that I'm not gonna sign on to anything until I hear from the other islands. I think it's only fair that we hear from each town manager or select board on their thoughts. That's my personal feeling.
When appropriate, the paramedic can provide ALS backup and support to the island EMS crew.
That's what I remember from the last.
I also agree with what you're saying.
Pam, so basically right now, then our decision would be, we are not signing anything until we have input from the other islands. And so
Correct.
drop the thing and we move on.
Correct. They, you know,
Yes.
let's see what everybody else has to say. If it means we have to have a Zoom meeting with the other ones to discuss and just see what their feelings are? No? I don't know.
I don't know.
Would it be appropriate for Maggie just to contact the town manager?
Like I
each
say,
one?
if they somehow, yeah, they have to contact us.
Yeah.
I don't think it's up to Marjorie to call them. I think it's up to this person
Rick.
to set
Okay.
up some kind of a meeting or get information from each town and verified information from their select boards or town managers.
So Maggie will get back to this guy and say, we need input from the other towns before we make a decision.
That's what I would recommend.
Makes sense.
I mean, I think it's pretty,
Boy, there's gotta
Lofty.
be one hell of a good reason I don't see right
it's
now.
a very lofty idea, that's for certain. It's- I don't see how it's gonna work, but
My understanding from just past discussions that the other islands support this, and I say generally, because it's not like I've taken a poll and, you know, written down names and yes, we support it, yes, we support it. But from the comments that I have heard, the other islands do support this program. But on the other hand, they're not the ones that are gonna have to find a place
Look
for the
a
boat
berth for the thing.
Right.
and look for housing for
Correct.
multiple people.
I mean, I support if they want to have unicorn farms on their islands, go ahead.
I think
Doesn't
that
matter.
I think they would have to have it mainland-based boat and go to the different islands. I mean, there's no way that we could possibly find a place for a boat like that here
The
in
whole thing
Rutland.
is just so foolish. The one boat to service
It ain't working.
Cranberry Island to Monhegan.
I was gonna say, Monhegan's not a quick jaunt, Life Flight would be there.
Little Cranberry is on a quick jaunt.
Yeah.
All right, so I think I have enough comments and notes that I can respond to him.
Mhm.
And
I still like the idea of a special airplane for
so
that price in Rockland.
we're not gonna take any kind of a vote at this time.
Alrighty, thanks, everybody. Old business. B, approve and sign residential lease for deputy housing.
So this is a revised lease, it's just for 1 year for an option, with an option to renew, sorry. And our deputy reviewed it and he did not want to be taking care of the lawn maintenance and gardening, so she took that out as well.
So is that the only change except for the time?
Correct.
Okay.
The term,
Is she gonna unlist the property?
Oh, yeah, she just waits for it to be signed. It'll be unlisted the minute we sign.
So I'll ask again, why isn't the deputy doing the lease? Why does the town have to do the lease?
well, we've done different things over the years, as we've discussed before, and I discussed that with the deputy, and he said he doesn't see this as any different from our other rental. We have the lease for the other rental, but it's because it has evolved that during the time period that we didn't really have a resident deputy, we just kept that apartment for all of the deputies that rotated out. I mean, it didn't really make sense to do it any other way. And then when Peter came on board, he and his family moved into that apartment just by, you know,
It was
we've
available.
already had that lease. And so deputy number 2 doesn't feel like he should have to sign the lease because that's the way we do the other lease. So, you know, and it's been done both ways over the years.
Well, I think, I mean, if the town is the the tenant, then if something happens that the current sheriff, deputy sheriff has to leave, we would still have that for somebody else.
Yeah.
That to me seems like
Yeah.
a safeguard there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if he quits or leaves,
Somebody else could move in, whether
Yeah.
it be the sheriff or, I mean, it doesn't have to be the sheriff. I mean, we'd have to talk to her, I'm sure, if it changed, but
If someone makes a motion, would you make, give me the ability to sign on behalf of the town?
yes.
only, my question is about the lawn care.
No, that's already, she's already said she will do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, right, never mind.
Yeah, no, he didn't want to be responsible, and so she took that out.
I made her aware that, you know, when we leased property before, we were the ones that had to take care of the lawn, because that's the way it's done. You don't very often have a tenant taking care of the, responsible for lawn.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if he's happy with it, and she's happy, and then we should be happy.
Yeah. Well, she's making
Motion to-
changes too, to make it even better for him.
Yeah,
Give the
So-
motion to,
Sign the lease.
Marge the power to sign
Yep.
the lease.
Second.
all in favor? Is that motion?
Motion second.
Okey-dokey?
Well, I got it.
Okay, all in favor? All right, great. Unicorn.
The thing is just foolish. It's like, I don't wanna sit through a meeting on a foolish thing that's never gonna happen.
Oh, I hear you. Okay.
No.
Oh, dear. Oh, that, kids would love that. My great-granddaughters would love that. 9, new business, DEP Solid Waste Facility Site Assessment Report and application for solid waste transfer station. Oh,
So
Lord.
there's a lot going on with the transfer station. So we got this site assessment report, and there are some recommendations for corrective action that I'm working through with Ken. I do have a meeting with the engineers and DEP and myself. It's called a pre-application meeting. Apparently, our transfer station never applied for a transfer station license, which is required under DEP. We closed the landfill sometime in the late 90s and opened up the transfer station. Apparently, there should have been a license, and there was not. So we're working through that. If you're interested in this site report, you're certainly welcome to have a copy. I just wanted you to be aware that
They
we're
got most
working,
of it.
they did,
Yeah, this is a nice packet.
that we're working through
Information.
the page about corrective actions. Where am I here? Recommendations for corrective actions. Certainly, if you ever have any questions about what's going on with that, reach out. But the other piece is that we're working on the application for the license. Because we're doing it after the fact, I guess you'd call it, it's a double permit cost of $4,000. So, as I said, we'll be meeting next week with the engineers and DEP and myself to go through some of the license requirements and also review the site report. I'll keep you posted.
Is there any reason in your mind that they might not issue the license, Marjorie?
I'm not thinking that,
Okay,
really, but
just have to correct certain
there might
things.
be some work that we need to do. Yeah,
Looks like, yes.
While we're on the topic of the dump,
mhm.
I I'm supposed to bring this, I was gonna bring it up in report of members before I forget. I know the co-op has asked and the other buying stations, was wondering if we could get more demo trailers. I don't know if they change the name more frequently or more in general.
I spoke with Waste Management today,
Mhm.
and one of the problems I have is what you're speaking about, that we don't have enough demo trailers.
Mhm.
They promise certain things in the contract. And it's strange because our contract, we have a contract with Waste Management, but then we have the trucking contracted with Thomaston Recycling.
Mhm.
And Waste Management is supposed to provide those cans to Thomaston Recycling, so that's what they use to go back and forth. I've asked for an additional demo open top, and we've also complained since July about the condition of the cans that we have. They're all rusted out and not in good condition. And Waste Management is supposed to provide those for us per contract. So I just spoke with Peter today. I also spoke with Scott at Thomaston Recycling. He's gonna reach out to Waste Management. You know, the way we both feel is that Waste Management made a lot of promises, and this is the first time that Scott from Thomaston Recycling and I have compared notes, because apparently they're telling him some things and telling me some things, and they don't exactly come together. So, you know, I always try to work with people if I can, you know, but I feel like we're getting a bit of a runaround. So, still talking to Waste Management, and Scott's gonna get a hold of them as well, and we'll try to get them to comply with their contract. You know, this is what you promised, you know, we're not getting what you promised.
Okay.
So, does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring it up, and you're already,
And there
you're
was
already
a-
on it, so.
There was a problem with we just couldn't move anything for a while, or, you know, we couldn't move things fast enough,
Mhm.
and things were backing up. So we did have a problem. So one thing that we had to do is we have interstate septic coming out to remove the sludge from the wastewater treatment plant, which is also important. And I said, Debbie, you know, you're gonna have to cancel some of those trips, because we've got to, you know, and it's like, you know, it was to the point where I went over to the transfer station on a Wednesday, and everything was full, completely full. And like, it's like people were coming in and they couldn't get rid of recycling, they couldn't get rid of demo. There was one of the trash compactors was full and the other was half full. I said, Debbie, if it's between closing the dump and getting sludge pumped, you know, I'm sorry, cancel the, you know, pumping the sludge and get this stuff out of the transfer station. So I think we're in a better place now. I've been going over to the transfer station. Of course, Kenny and I are talking a lot because of this license that we're trying to get, and because of the site report, but you know, just trying to deal with it. Getting it done.
Millie?
I was just, do we still get the spare open trailer?
That's what I'm working on.
Because, yeah, we had one for a long time, you know,
Yeah.
we switch them out, and that was a huge help, and it also saved on the traffic, because it was already here.
Right.
But like right now, it's all.
We've been
over the parking
asking
lot
since
again.
July.
There's mattresses and everything else stacked up all over the place.
Yeah, and it doesn't, I mean, I
It's not
heard
on that.
about an incident of somebody ripping into Kenny, but I mean, that doesn't do any good to go and scream at somebody. It really doesn't. I mean, I think we're really trying to work hard to move things along. So, you know, I don't know. been working on transfer station issues a lot in the past week, so.
I also feel like there are a lot more people out here in the summer than previous years, and I think that contributes to filling everything up faster.
And a lot of construction and
A lot of construction.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, anything else on the transfer station? 9C, approve and sign Woodard and Kern work order number 18, shore and harbor planning grant.
So I don't know if you remember or not, a while ago, we told you that we were gonna apply for the shore and harbor planning grant. This is for the crib work down at the ferry terminal to get an assessment of what we need to do to rebuild that and then move into applying for funds to actually rebuild it.
Okay. So we have to sign that now? Do we have to?
81
well, we
have to-
81,000 dollars?
Pardon? Well, it's in the grant agreement that
So
we
we
were,
don't have to pay the 81,000 then?
no.
Okay.
No, it's a grant.
Okay.
There's
Oh, I see that. now
There's
we have to
matching
sign that.
funds that we talked about that will come out of the resiliency reserve.
And how much was that
Yes.
again?
Let me just make sure I get the right amount. $28,500.
which is one of the reasons we created the resiliency account
Right.
in the first place.
That's what we talked about when we talked about the application that we were submitting.
Right.
So I just need authorization to sign the,
Do I make a motion for that? Make a motion to approve, for Marjorie to approve and sign the Woodard and Kern work order number 18, shore and harbor planning grant.
Second.
All in favor? Report of town manager.
so that's several things going on that I wanted to talk about. I did do a quarterly report, that's a simple thing, and we're right around 26%. Would anybody like a copy of the first quarterly report for this year? We're right around 26%, which is, where we should be at 25%. Everything looks good, nothing's over, but I'm happy to make copies for anybody that would like one.
Maybe when I come up to sign the warrant next week, I'll take a look at it. You don't have to do it now.
I
can
would
email it
prefer
to
to
you if
have
you don't have it.
I would prefer to have an email.
Mhm.
Yes, instead of the hard copies.
So the the parcel mapping project from CAI, we've gone through the first year. They did the flyover and created the base maps, and now they'll be looking at any surveys or subdivision maps that we might have. We need to gather those together and get those to CAI for the second year of the project. We'll also be sending them our data from the Trio software. So right now, we're gonna be sorting and organizing any maps or surveys that we might have. Anybody have any questions about that process? As you know, it's a 3-year plan. We're using our ARPA funds for that. Just seems to be moving along. Let's see. Okay, this one, I just wanted to let you know that the co-op received what do they call it? Working Waterfront Resiliency Grant through DOT. But as is commonly done, the municipality will be the fiscal agent for the grant. We don't have any responsibilities in terms of contracting for anybody to do the work. All we do is look at the invoices, and the money passes through the town to the co-op. And I've done these before a few times. Simple process. Just wanted to let you know that that was happening. We did get our proposed state valuation. It went up almost 5% to 711,700,000. As I say in my memo, this matters because, for instance, our state valuation is used to calculate our county tax. So in other words, if our state valuation goes up, then we might pay a little bit more in our county tax. We are still, planning to do a revaluation, but after we do the mapping project, because when, during the last steps of the mapping project, we'll have an entirely new map and lot system. So it'll probably won't be until 2027. Our ratio is about 85%, which isn't terrible, but it should be up in, the 90s percentile. There are towns that I've worked with and for that are down into 65. So 85 is not terrible, but we need to look forward and get some money in a reserve fund so that we can get that revaluation done as soon as we are able. On Saturday, our trash truck was refused by the ferry service. They wouldn't, so he came over here Saturday morning, but they wouldn't let him go back with the full load of trash because there was a little bit of juice coming out of the container. We had this problem several years ago. We've had the same problem over the years. One of the things that I'm going to try to do is get the food waste composting program, start advertising that a little more, because it's the food waste and any liquid waste in the trash that causes, or contributes, contributes to the problem. And if we can get more of the food waste out of our waste stream, all the better. So we bought some more of the little composting pails that we will either sell or distribute. We're going to start doing some more ads in the wind to try to get people. I know in my household, we used to have our own little composting thing out and back, and we gave that up, and we used the food waste program at the transfer station, and it works really well for us. It's really easy. Every time we go to the transfer station, we dump our food waste into the bin, and it's pretty easy. So we're trying to do that. As I said, trying to do more advertising, trying to work with the ferry service to understand what their issues are. I said, one of the things that's a little bit perplexing to me, and I'm not casting any blame on anybody, is that some of the crews tolerate a certain level of the juice and some don't. I have to respect their opinion about whether they'll take it or not take it. I don't like it because it's really disruptive for us, especially on a Saturday when none of us are really in the office to help deal with it. But anyway, I'm trying to do anything I can in working with Waste Management, Thomaston Recycling, Ferry Service, and getting the composting program back together again.
Does it inclement weather, like rain and such?
Well, no, it's a compacted unit, so it gets compacted, and if there's food waste or any liquid.
It's the closed
Then it's-
containers that are the problem.
But if you had your open trash can out in the rain and just went to dump it
Exactly.
in, that's putting water in.
Exactly.
So that's that cooperative agreement. Oh, sorry. Oh, Tom had a question about the cardboard. I talked with Ken about the cardboard that comes from the co-op and other lobster dealers. He said that even if we wanted to put it all in the recycle bin, we don't have enough capacity. And he thinks it is contaminated. And our EcoMaine looks at our loads and they're rated. Every load is rated in terms of contamination, and we pay more the more contamination we have. So Kenny's just saying that we can't move it fast enough for, to put more cardboard into the recycling bin, and he doesn't think that it's clean enough to put in. So that was Ken's opinion. I mean, I'm not at the transfer station when this stuff comes in, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes. You might get 4 or 5 boxes that are clean, and then you get 2 or 3 that are thawed out
Yeah.
for the others, and they're nasty. It's
Even
not,
the clean ones,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that truck goes up East Main Street to the dump, and you can watch the street behind it sometimes and smell it for a long time. So yeah, this is not clean stuff.
And the bottom, the boxes on the bottom that are on the deck with the
Yeah.
water constantly going through and it's thawing, it's not
It's
clean.
not clean stuff.
Yeah, the only way you could do that is if they sorted them out before they brought it up. They don't have the workers to do that either, so.
No,
yeah,
They
a
have
lot of
one
it,
less
a lot of it thaws quite a bit just in transit here.
Just the condensation, just in.
Yeah, boxes are wet when they come off the truck.
Well, I wanted to answer Tom's question from last meeting. The Fed reduced interest rates, so both of our banks called, and Camden National Bank reduced our interest rate from 5.13 to 4.5, which still isn't bad. And First National reduced it from 4.27 down to 3.8. Most of our money is in Camden National Bank. We're earning the most interest there, and we're transferring over to First National to issue checks. Travis Gould, our assessor, did give me some unfortunate news that he doesn't want to continue. He really likes working here and the work, but the travel time for him has just become unmanageable. He's not just gonna leave us without anybody, but I do have to start looking for somebody. I've always been able to find somebody through networking, but the market is so tight for certified assessors that I'm just not sure. I've reached out to a couple of people without any luck, but so I might do some advertising.
yeah, Dexter's a long commute.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure he's in Dexter, he might be further than that, but he also works for Dexter.
Regardless, it's a
Yeah.
hike.
It's about, I think he says it's 2 hours.
Yeah,
I thought that would
To
be
the ferry.
a long way away.
yep, sounds about right.
Is that question?
I think that's all I have. It's a lot.
Number 11, report of members.
Yes.
I could do
Just-
something if you want.
No, that's fine. I just like the way you went, huh?
I have
Giving you a hard time.
I have one thing in regard to the meeting, the Maine State Advisory Meeting or whatever. I heard that they want to get rid of line cars.
I have not heard that personally.
So if that could be a question that could be asked. And also with the new parking lot system, Bill Gary made a comment about near miss accidents.
Yeah, so they
Like-
talk about, they call it confusion corner, and the triangle of death is what they call that area where the cars are coming off the boat, people are driving around and coming through nights. They talk about, like, they're the near miss and almost accidents.
I
Got
just,
all these people lined right up in a row there, so you can't get through.
I was just curious, like, really, how many near miss accidents? It
So there's two,
seems preposterous.
do you want to get rid of line cars, and how many accidents have there really been?
Yeah, I think
believe
it's,
this entire parking lot plan, Brian Wright took a bunkers truck over there and they laid out exactly how it was gonna be a few years back. And the truck could not make the corners, which also means Knights Marine will not be able to make those corners either.
right.
I,
And if there are cars in the overflow, you have to go across Main Street, around, and then come back to the ferry terminal just to go pee.
well, if
How-
there's a parking place, because now this whole line of parking's gone down
It's
there.
it's ridiculous.
So you got 5 parking places?
So, but wasn't that the bus stop?
It was, but there's also,
So now where does the bus go? I never even thought of that.
Who cares? The bus has nothing to do with the state to begin with. Anyway, that's my rant.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay, 12, adjourn, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Well, there.